Welcome back, everyone. We're diving headfirst into the thrilling world of community league racing, or CLR, as you probably know it.
That's right.
And let me tell you, 2024 was a year that, well, it was a year for the record books. We're talking 12 different series,
Wow.
20 seasons, and a mind-blowing 140 races.
That's a lot of racing.
It really is. And when you consider there are over 465 members on Discord, over 100 active drivers, you start to get a sense of just how vibrant this community really is.
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty impressive scale for an online league.
It really is. So where do we even begin? How do we unpack a year this jam-packed? I mean,
Well, there's one name that keeps popping up, kind of unavoidable, really.
we're talking about Slugsy.
Slugsy, yeah.
I mean, this guy, the little homeless snail, as our source describes him.
Little homeless snail.
Yeah, it's almost comical, isn't it? A snail dominating the world of high-speed sim racing. 2 Tech Pro titles.
Incredible.
World Series 365 champion, DTM Mini Series victory. Even took home the first ever CLR golf tournament trophy. I mean, that's versatility.
How does he do it? What makes him so successful across so many different disciplines?
Well, I think it speaks to, just his adaptability.
Right.
I mean, think about it. Tech Pro, those are grueling endurance races.
Yeah.
You need stamina, strategy, the whole package. Then you've got World Series 365, which demands consistent speed, like over and over, short bursts.
Short bursts, right.
And DTM Mini Series, well, that's all about precision, those high downforce cars.
So he's got like multiple personalities when it comes to racing.
It seems that way. He just shifts gears and excels. It's impressive.
Okay, so we know he's winning across the board. But what's the secret sauce? Is there anything specific about his driving style, his car choices, anything that gives us a clue as to how he pulls it off?
Well, unfortunately, the sources don't really dive into the, nitty-gritty details like car setups or
Right.
specific strategies, but you can pick up on some trends.
Okay.
Like in Tech Pro, it seems like Slugsy's all about consistency.
Really? More so than outright speed. Yeah, he's not necessarily the fastest out there, but he avoids those,
Mistakes.
yeah, those risky maneuvers that could, take him out of contention. He's playing the long game.
Well,
He's racking up points, staying steady, and it pays off.
so it's not just about raw talent, it's about race IQ, understanding the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, CLR is a team sport, especially in those endurance races.
Oh, right, yeah, the teammates.
He's had consistently strong partners, and that's crucial for communication, pit strategy,
Yeah, the whole team dynamic.
It all adds up. You can't win alone in endurance racing.
Okay, I'm with you there. But with all this winning, does it ever get, I don't know, discouraging for other drivers? I mean, going up against someone who seems to win everything.
That's a great question, and I think that's where the emergence of new talent really becomes interesting. Because, yeah, Slugsy might be the benchmark right now, but there's a whole wave of drivers, they're hungry, they're pushing him, and themselves.
You're talking about the rising stars.
Yeah.
And one name immediately comes to mind. Echo, most improved driver yet.
Most improved driver of the year. What a story, right? Tell me more.
So Echo's journey is, well, it's kind of inspiring, actually.
How so?
I mean, his dedication, his practice, it all translated into results. Season 12, Tech, he just exploded onto the scene.
Like out of nowhere.
Pretty much. And his mastery of the Lexus GR2 car. People were taking notice.
He went from like zero to hero in a single season.
It was a meteoric rise.
So what specifically stood out about his driving? Was it raw speed, or was there something more?
It was more than just speed, it was his racecraft. Intelligent overtakes, clean driving, avoiding mistakes, the kind of stuff that separates the good from the great.
Ah, I see. So he's got the skills and the smarts, and he didn't just vanish after that breakout season.
Nope, not at all. He kept going, strong performances in the Yank Tank Series, even dabbled in the Sprint Series, World Series. Like, he's trying it all, testing himself.
It's giving me those Slugsy vibes, the whole multi-talented racer thing.
Yeah, it's a fascinating trend to watch. Almost like that's becoming the key to success in CLR.
Maybe. And Echo's not the only one. You had Beetlejuice, Lemony Squeeze. They really shook things up.
Oh, yeah. Beetlejuice and Lemony Squeeze. Those names are hard to forget.
Hard to forget. And their battles in Tech, man, they were epic.
Epic, huh? Give me the highlights.
I mean, they pushed each other to the limit, constantly trading positions. Lemony Squeeze ended up taking the Season 13 Pro title.
So he got the bragging rights there.
He did, but Beetlejuice came back strong in World Series Part 2. It was a real rivalry. The kind that brings out the best in both drivers.
The iron sharpens iron principle.
Exactly. And their driving styles were so different, too.
How so?
Well, Beetlejuice was all about aggression, pushing the limits, while Lemony Squeeze was more calculated, waiting for the right moment, capitalizing on mistakes.
Oh, interesting. So it was like a clash of styles, a battle of wits on the track.
It was, and it made for some truly thrilling races. These two, they're definitely ones to watch.
Agreed. But before we get too caught up in the excitement of the newcomers, there's another driver whose story we need to explore. Jaeger.
Ah, yes, Mr. Consistent.
Mr. Consistent. But he's more than just a driver, right?
He's also the CLR manager and a series creator. It adds another layer to his achievements.
He's practically CLR royalty.
You could say that.
But he's not just managing from the sidelines. He's out there competing and winning. 3 straight Sprint Series titles, a Tech Team Championship with his teammate, and, get this, he clinched the World Touring Cars Championship without winning a single race.
I know, it's wild.
Break that down for me. How is that even possible?
It's all about the points.
The points.
Yeah, in World Touring Cars, consistency is king. Jaeger, he focused on podium finishes, racking up points, didn't go chasing risky race wins. He played the long game, and it worked.
It's brilliant.
It is very strategic.
But you have to wonder, does his role as manager give him an edge on the track? Does he have insider knowledge or...
It's a fair question. I mean, on the one hand, yeah, he's deeply involved in CLR. Knows the regulations inside and out, the tracks, maybe even has insights into car setups that other drivers wouldn't.
So he's got home field advantage.
In a way. But on the other hand, managing a community this active, it's a huge time commitment.
That's true.
He probably has less time to practice than other top drivers who are purely focused on racing.
Right, so it's a double-edged sword.
Exactly. Maybe it's not about an unfair advantage, but about maximizing the time he does have,
Makes sense. So we can't say for sure if his manager role gives him an edge, but it definitely adds an interesting layer to his success.
Definitely. And it brings us back to this idea that a thriving racing community isn't just about the elite drivers at the top.
Right, it's about more than that.
It's about creating a space for everyone, regardless of skill level, and that's where the variety of series and events in CLR really shines.
Ah, you're talking about things like the Yang Tank series.
Yeah, exactly. The YTS.
Known for its unpredictability, its edge-of-your-seat action. What makes this series so unique, so compelling?
Well, it starts with the cars themselves.
The cars. Yeah, American muscle cars, performance vehicles, each one with its own, quirks, its own challenges.
So we're talking powerful engines, rear-wheel drive, lots of oversteer.
Oh, yeah. These cars are notoriously difficult to handle, especially in a competitive field. It's not just about speed in the YTS, it's about car control, managing tire wear, knowing when to push, when to hold back.
It's like a controlled chaos out there.
Exactly.
And the rivalries, those duels between Richie and Sonic in Season 5.
Oh, those were intense.
Legendary stuff, right?
They were battling for that GR4 title, and it was, aggressive but respectful.
Yeah.
They pushed each other to the limit, traded paint a few times, I'm sure, but it was always within the spirit of CLR.
So it's like a respectful rivalry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fierce competition, but fair play.
And then you have Chico Blasi, who seems to approach the YTS with a completely different mindset.
Chico Blasi is interesting. He's like the master strategist of the YTS.
Good strategist.
He might not always be the fastest guy out there.
But he knows how to read the race, anticipate those moves, capitalize on other people's mistakes.
So he's picking up points, podiums, while others are battling it out for the lead.
Exactly. His battle with Ray Racer in Season 7, that was a classic example.
Oh, yeah. What happened there?
Ray Racer was often quicker, but Chico Blasi, he stayed consistent, made smart moves, and in the end, he took home the championship.
It's like he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
That's a great way to put it. He's thinking several steps ahead.
Okay, so we've got these seasoned veterans, these rising stars, but CLR isn't just about the elite, right? It's about nurturing new talent. And that's where the Rising Star series comes in.
The Rising Star series, yeah, it's a vital part of the CLR ecosystem. It's where new drivers cut their teeth, develop their skills.
And they don't exactly ease them in gently, do they? Those Renault Clios and Megane trophy cars, they can be a handful.
They're known for being challenging.
Challenging how?
Well, front-wheel drive can be tricky to master, especially when you're pushing hard. You get that tendency for the rear to step out, oversteer.
Oh yeah, that can be scary.
It takes precise throttle control, good steering input to keep things tidy.
So it's a real test of car control, more than just raw speed.
Exactly, and that's the point, right? To learn the fundamentals before moving up to those more powerful cars.
Makes sense. And speaking of moving up, big shout out to Naybother, our 2024 Rising Stars champ.
Naybauder, yeah, he did a fantastic job. Navigated those tricky Renaults, stayed consistent, and came out on top.
It wasn't just about the cars, right? There were some curveballs thrown in as well.
Oh yeah, the weather.
Were there?
They had some unpredictable weather conditions in the Rising Stars series. Rain, sometimes even changing conditions during a race.
Wow, that adds a whole other layer of complexity.
It does. You have to adapt your driving style, think about tire choices, make those split-second decisions.
It's a trial by fire.
You could say that,
I think.
but it prepares them for the challenges ahead.
Absolutely. So we've got the serious competition, the driver development, but CLR is also about having fun, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the Sonic specials come in.
The Sonic specials, yeah, those Friday night events, a chance to unwind, experiment, try out different cars and tracks.
So it's more casual, less pressure.
Exactly. It's about the social side of sim racing, just having a blast with friends.
I bet there's some hilarious moments in those races.
Oh, yeah, especially those hot hatchback hoppers events. Those little cars, they're just begging to be thrown around.
I can imagine lots of spins, crashes, laughter in the voice chat.
It's all part of the fun. And then you had the World Touring Cars events, which were a bit more serious.
So a bit of everything for everyone.
Exactly. Something for the hardcore sim racers, something for those who just want to have a good time on a Friday night.
And that community spirit, it extends beyond the regular season, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about the off-season shenanigans.
The off-season, yeah, it's anything but quiet in CLR.
What do they get up to?
Well, we heard tales of taming those Group C monster machines.
Group C cars. Those things are beasts.
They are incredibly powerful, difficult to handle. It led to some, let's just say, memorable moments.
I bet. And there was even some virtual golf and football thrown in for good measure.
That's right. The off-season is all about camaraderie, friendly competition, a chance to bond outside of the usual racing environment.
I love that. And of course, no CLR year would be complete without the traditional Road to Xmas races.
Ah, yes. The Road to Xmas, a beloved CLR tradition.
What makes these races so special?
Well, it's a mix of festive fun, chaotic racing, and that unique CLR camaraderie.
Give me the details.
Kart races with Joker laps, Fiat 500 push races that devolve into bumper car mayhem, and then the grand finale, the Demolition Derby.
Oh, the Demolition Derby where it's all about survival.
Exactly. The last car standing wins.
Sounds like the perfect way to end the year of intense sim racing.
It is a chance to let loose, have some laughs, celebrate the community that makes CLR so special.
Because ultimately, that's what it's all about, right? The community, the shared passion, the fun.
It really is. CLR has managed to create something special.
It really is amazing, isn't it? This balance they've struck between the competitive side of things and the,
The community.
yeah, the community, the fun.
Yeah.
It's not just about winning. It's about the journey, the friendships.
The shared passion.
Exactly. And that's, I think, what sets CLR apart. It's a community that celebrates the wins, but also embraces, the tough moments, the losses. Everyone pushes each other to be better, but in a supportive way.
Yeah, that's a great point. You don't always find that in online racing, that sense of mutual support.
No, you don't.
Hmm.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into CLR's 2024, what are the key takeaways for you? What stood out?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is just the sheer talent.
The talent pool.
Yeah, it runs deep. You've got the established champions like Slugsy holding their own, but then you've got this new generation coming up. Echo, Beetlejuice, Lemony Squeeze, they're all pushing the boundaries, bringing something fresh.
It's like a changing of the guard, but done in a very respectful way. Not a hostile takeover, more like a shared passion for, pushing the limits of sim racing.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. And it's exciting to watch. Each driver excels in different ways.
Right.
Slugsy with his consistency in Tech Pro, Jaeger, the master strategist in World Touring Cars, Chico Blasi, the calculated genius in the Yang Tank series.
Each series highlights different skills.
Exactly. And it makes for such compelling racing.
And let's not forget, it's not always about individual skill, right?
Yeah.
The teamwork aspect, especially in endurance racing, that plays a huge role.
Absolutely. And those community events, the Sonic specials, Road to Xmas, they really highlight the social side of CLR, the camaraderie.
It's more than just a racing league, it's a community.
A real community.
But looking ahead, as we close out 2024, the big question is, what does the future hold for CLR? What trends should we be watching? What rivalries might ignite?
Well, that's the exciting part, isn't it? The future is wide open. Will Slugsy continue to dominate, or will these new drivers finally knock him off the top spot?
Echo, will his star keep rising? Will Beetlejuice and Lemony Squeeze reignite their epic battle? And what about those wild cards in the Yank Tank series? They could shake things up.
And you can't forget the technology side of things. New games, new cars, new tracks, all of that will have an impact on CLR. New racing formats, who knows?
Virtual reality, augmented reality, it's all coming.
It is. The possibilities are endless.
So many questions, so many possibilities. But one thing is for sure, CLR is a community that embraces innovation. It's fueled by passion and the pursuit of excellence. We can't wait to see what they do in 2025.
We've explored the stories, the strategies, the achievements that defined 2024.
We've had a blast.
But now we turn to you, our listeners.
What are your predictions for the coming year? What drivers are you most excited to follow? What storylines will capture your attention? Share your thoughts. Let's keep the conversation going, and let's see what the future holds for this incredible community of sim racers.